Hi, I'm Bert Schroer from Landmark Implement in Fairfield, Nebraska.
And I'm Kenny Erickson from Landmark Implement in Minden, Nebraska. Today we're going to be talking about maintenance on the 700 series corn head. Today I'm going to be talking about a few of the parts that we use on the corn heads and some of the greases and lubricants. We'll start over here with the chain lube and the multi-purpose lube. You can use either on this corn head. The only thing you really need to worry about lubing on the chain is the auger drive chain. The chain and cable lube is a little bit thicker. It has some graphite in it, but it also has a tendency for dirt sticking to it. So a lot of times we'll run the multi-purpose. Your chains will run cleaner. Dirt won't stick as bad. When you're done for the year, the chain lube will stick onto the chain better to help it last through the winter time. Model year 12 and before, in the gear cases on these corn heads, used a corn head grease. In model year 2012 and after, we'll take an 80-90 lubricant in the gear case. When hooking up to the corn head, it's a good idea to use electric contact cleaner for the electrical and single point hookup. Get all the dirt and grease off of the faces of them so there's no contaminant going into the oil, or washing the grease and debris off of the faceplate so it does not wreck the seals inside of the couplers.
So today we'll talk about some adjustments on the 700 series corn head. One thing that you'll want to check is your deck plate adjustment. So you'll want to start out by closing these all the way together. And the proper adjustment for that is 15 millimeters in the front and 17 millimeters in the back. Another item you want to adjust or check while you're here is the adjustment on your gathering chain. A proper adjustment for that gathering chain is 3/16 of an inch between the spacer and the top of the bolt. When you make that adjustment, you also want to make sure that you have movement of the front sprocket. Sometimes under operation, you'll get dirt and debris under here, and this won't slide in there as free as it should. Another thing you want to check is the condition of your chain and your sprockets. A worn sprocket it'll be cupped out on the drive side. Another thing, and you probably won't be able to tell this until you take the chain off, but the condition of the bearing in your lower sprocket. What we recommend, if you are replacing sprockets, you want to replace the chain at the same time, or vice versa. If you put a new chain on a used sprocket, it will wear it out quicker than if you replace them all at the same time. So another adjustment that you want to check is the height of your auger. So what is recommended is about an inch between the bottom of the floor and the bottom of your auger. Another adjustment is the stripper plate, which is on the back side of the auger, and that would be 1/4 of an inch. To adjust your auger, you have to remove your plastic cover, and the bearing mount on this side is adjustable. They're adjustable on both sides, but you want to make sure that you get your auger level all the way through. Another adjustment you want to check is your trash knives, which are on the bottom side of your snap and rolls. To adjust that, you would have to work from underneath. You want to check your operator's manual. The proper distance is 1/16 of an inch, but there is some different locations that you need to check that adjustment depending on which snap and roll you're using. When you start maintenance on your corn head, one thing to be aware of when you're raising these snoots up to check your adjustments, there is a gas-filled shock that assists with your snoot raising. So when you pull these out, it doesn't take much effort for this to raise, and it won't kind of go on its own. If you have your head all the way up, I've seen where the tip of this snoot will hit your windshield. So just be aware. So one thing you'll want to adjust on your corn head is your snoots. Probably the biggest thing is that they're all even across all of them. That helps with your header height sensor operation. To adjust those, lift that up, and to adjust your snoots, that adjustment is made right here by pulling this out and moving this to whichever position you. The back bolt on this bracket is your fine-tune adjustment if you need smaller adjustments than what is here. Another adjustment you want to check before you get started is your RowSense. If you have that on your head, you want to check the gap between these two wands. It should be 15 millimeters. Another, you might want to check to make sure you don't have a lot of wobble or play in your sensor on the bottom side of your stick. So another item you probably want to check before harvest is your header height sensors. Make sure they move up and down, of course, but the big thing is to make sure there isn't too much wobble back and forth. If they get wore too much, your sensors won't react correctly and it won't raise or lower your head the way you would expect it. So if you need any further assistance after watching this video, be sure and contact your local Landmark implement dealer.